All right, finished chapter 1 of the House of Mirth, where yes, she spends time with it is Selden. I think it's Harry Selden at his flat. She starts talking about collectibles. She's looking at the books and going like, "Oh, you're a collector." It's like, "Well, I," and he say basically, "I pick up stuff at sales and from the trash and you know stuff like that, but I'm not rich enough to have like a collection. I'm not really a collector. I just like to have kind of like nice first editions of the books that I actually read. But the true collectors, they're just interested in stuff for the rarity of it. They probably don't even read the books, and they mention a particular collector's collection. Maybe it's the finest, and she seems strangely kind of interested in that. Like there's some kind of maybe a money making scheme in her mind. Um, so she's going off to a party, the Trenners at Belmont. Belmont? The Trenners, see the Trenners, yes. The Trenners are at Bellomont, of course. So she's going off to see them. She runs into Mr. Rosedale. She's like, actually, it's first, she's going out. She has to go by a charwoman who pushes aside her pail and kind of watches her. And there's sort of a thing of like, oh, she's making presumptions about me. But then she's like, oh, has she seen more than one woman come down from Selden's bachelor pad? And like, is there a kind of woman who visits bachelors in this bachelor pad? And like, is that kind of thing? And she's like, oh, how, I shouldn't even be thinking about like some low woman like this having any suppositions. But she doesn't like the idea that maybe there's been other women that Selden might have been seeing. But then she meets Mr. Rosedale as well, who it turns out he was a plump, rosy man of the blonde Jewish type, with smart London clothes fitting him like upholstery, like a couch or something like that. And he had small sidelong eyes, which gave him the air of appraising people as if they were bric-a-brac, which I think is where we're slipping into kind of the sort of the anti-Semitism vein of like, oh, it's a Jewish person who's basically sizing you up for money, kind of that sort of thing. And he knows exactly what building she's come from. She claims it's a dressmaker. It's like, oh, I didn't think there was any dressmakers there. And he owns the building, so he would know very well. So we're already getting this kind of web of there's always somebody watching and always judging. And, maybe Lily Bart isn't as independent. Well, I don't think she's less independent from that sort of thing than she might think she is. So that's interesting. He's like, and there's this whole thing of like, oh, well, you're a woman. I'm going to escort you to the train station, and she gets out of it by hailing a cab and just ignoring his protestations and jumping in the cab. But like, she has to kind of, there's a certain amount of power a male, even a lower class male, has on a woman in this era, and she's got to like kind of even this, she's got to kind of wrench herself away and say, no, I'm doing this, and kind of zip off. So yeah, that is chapter 1 of the House of Mirth. On to chapter 2.